Hi everyone, and welcome to TWF Collision or Hit. I, Tony Schiavone, with my Tony Schiavone, with Jim Ross and Montel Vertadius Porter here. And today on Collision or Hit, we're going to see the match that we saw yesterday on Rampage Ramfru when Elois takes on Xia Li for the TWF 24/7 winnings. Says Tony Schiavone. Well, you got that right. You got that right. Jim Ross says Xia Li has only lost for the 20th time since she came to the Toy Wrestling Gathering at the 11th month of last year. Jim Ross says. So it was cool to see how Xia Li, lost her 20th match. Yeah, and it would, says Jim Ross. I'll tell you right now, Tony and Jim, the fun thing was, as fast as Elois won the 24/7 winnings, quickly lost it back to Xia Li. So I don't see any unlikeness happening here today on Collision or Hit. Except I do believe that my man Bobby Lashley should be fighting Cody Rhodes for the TWF Heavyweight and World Heavyweight winnings. And mark my word, and wipe my words, one day you will see him as the AEW Heavyweight fighter. Well, only time will tell if any of that happens or not, Tony Schiavone says. But we're going to the ring now, Montel Vertadius Porter, to see Xia Li in work. Yeah, Jim Ross said, Xia Li's TWF 24/7 winnings is on stake here today on Collision or Hit. So, everyone thinks that they'll still think that they can beat me, Xia Li. Former WWE wrestler, now TNA wrestler now. And you know something? Folks are going to say, oh, Xia Li, how can you come out here believing in yourself when Elois beat you yesterday on Rampage or Ramfru? Well, because that's only the 20th time I ever lost. And I do not see myself losing again for a long, long time. Well, here comes Elois now, coming to the ring now. Alright, Xia Li. I know that I beat you, but... Bullshit wakefulness. I know I beat you before. And I know I can do it again. You see, me and my friend Hercules, or I should call him Heracles, since Hercules is a Latinist borrowed name, and Heracles is the Hellenish borrowed name. But I have fought many wars with him. So I know that I can beat you. Oh, that's what. The sidekick, the friend, who has been with Heracles since young Heracles the film, and then young Heracles the Farseer show, and then Heracles the saga walks. Always just be truly earnest about that. You were always the sidekick, and you got lucky when you beat me, because you're not gonna beat me again. Is that so? Is that so, Xia Li? Well, put your gold where your mouth is, because at the end of the day, I'm going to beat you. This is for the TWF 24/7 winnings. First, he is from He is from the Folkreich of Hellenish land, Elois. And she is a TWF 24/7 fighter from the Folkreich of Eastland, Xia Li. Well, first off, Tony Schiavone said Xia Li lost yesterday on Collision or Hit, and yes, she lost yesterday in Rampage or Ram through and almost took Elois's head off. Yes, that's right. Jim Ross said Xia Li, has not won as many matches in her time in WWE, but now she's now in TNA, so who knows? Things might work out for her in TNA the way it didn't work out in WWE. Xia Li took down, says Jim Ross. Xia Li, I'm going to tell you right now, Montel Bertadius Porter says Elois got lucky yesterday when he beat Xia Li, but he's not going to be lucky here today again. His luck has run out. Well, Tony Schiavone says Xia Li is also a sports fighter besides being a skilled wrestler, formerly in WWE, now in TNA now, underneath a new name. And Xia Li has taken out Elois here today on Collision or Hit, Tony Schiavone says. Well, Jim Ross said, do you think Xia Li will be a TNA women's heavyweight fighter? Jim Ross says. I don't know, Montel Bertadius Porter says. I don't know. I know one thing. Xia Li's not done with Elois, though. Elois coming back right now. Elois right now picks up Xia Li in a body slam, Tony Schiavone says. I can tell you one thing, Montel Bertadius Porter says. Xia Li could become the TNA women's heavyweight fighter. She could do something she didn't do in WWE. And now Elois is hoping to do his take on it, Montel Bertadius Porter says. Elois wanted to do his take. And Xia Li just put Elois down, Montel Bertadius Porter says. Yeah, that kick only takes one kick from Xia Li, Tony Schiavone said, to put down any wrestler, any fighter, or any overstar, Tony Schiavone said. Well, Jim Ross says, it's over now. It's over now. Elois isn't getting up from that strike. 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding. Here is your winner. And still the TWF 24/7 fighter, Xia Li. Well, Xia Li beat Elois here today on Collision or Hit, and she is still the TWF 24/7 fighter, Tony Schiavone says. Yes, she is, Jim Ross says. Xia Li has only lost 2 times since she came to the Toy Wrestling Gathering in the 11th month of last year, Jim Ross said. And she's only lost 2 matches since then, Jim Ross said. Yeah, I like Xia Li. It was sad that her time in WWE didn't go very well when she was in NXT, then on SmackDown, then on Raw before being fired. Now she's in TNA now, and we'll see what she's going to do there. But Elois had no luck in hell of beating Xia Li. He got lucky yesterday, but he was not lucky here today. Montel Bertadius Porter says. Alright, everyone, take it away now to Mike Lane. You're right to your belief, Tony Schiavone says. Elois came in with luck on his side yesterday, but luck was not on his side today. It was on Xia Li's side, Tony Schiavone says. Take it away now, Mike Lane. Alright, thank you, Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross. I'm going to be talking with Xia Li here today on Collision or Hit. Alright, Xia Li, you Speedy Lois, the man who beat you yesterday on Rampage or Ramfru, and you are now a 3-time TWF 24/7 fighter. I told you, Mike Lane, no man or no woman would be man enough or woman enough to beat me. I took 2 losses since I've been in the TWF, or the Toy Wrestling Gathering, and I'll tell you what now, I'll be holding on to this TWF 24/7 winnings for a long time. Well, there was a short that you had made last year that's on the TWF Euro Fairway that said you'll be the TWF 24/7 fighter forever. And when I did make that short last year, Mike Lane, I meant it. I was going to be the TWF 24/7 fighter forever. And someone had to say, oh, and someone's going to say, oh, Xia Li, you're no longer in WWE now, you're in TNA now. That's true. You know, I went from WWE to TNA now. And even though TNA doesn't call me Xia Li, that's what I'm calling myself now. And no one can beat me. No one could. You know? And I will be the TWF 24/7 fighter for a long, long time. Well, that's good to know, Xia Li, that you believe you'll be the unbeatable, unstoppable, unyieldable, you know, TWF 24/7 fighter, you know, here in the Toy Wrestling Gathering. Well, good luck with that. Well, thank you, Mike Lane. Well, that's my talk with Xia Li. Back to you, Tony Schiavone and Jim Ross. Well, thank you, Mike Lane, for talking with Xia Li here today on Collision or Hit. And that's all the time we got here for Collision or Hit. I, Tony Schiavone, with Jim Ross and Montel Arcadius Porter. We hope you like Collision or Hit, and we'll see you tomorrow for Monday Night Raw, or Lone Day Night Raw, or no, Moon Day Night Raw.